Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Mrs. Z and Fifth with your host, Zacchaeus in the Fifth General. What up, Zacchaeus?
It was good. Good to be here. Good to be here. Good to be here, for sure. Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. How you do? All right, so last week was a pretty good episode, man. We talked about narcissism and dating.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Serious.
And that brought some things into perspective that people just need to know. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And we had a good reaction clip, about the woman who said that he was taking care of everything, the kids, the bills, everything. Mm-hmm. She didn't even have to spend a dime, but she called him complacent.
Yes.
But she called him complacent, and she said that she wanted more. And said that he didn't have any ambition.
Oh.
And I was so glad that the women on the panel was like, how does a man do all of that for you and his family and have no ambition? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
His ambition, his ambition and his purpose for taking care of his family shows that he has ambition.
Right.
And so, I don't think people look at that as enough. So we went and talked about that, and gave our breakdown, so that was pretty good. All right. So we're going to get into this episode. Communication between men and women. I don't have an official title yet, but surface level. When do we get beneath the surface in our communication when we first meet someone, getting to know someone, tons of icebreakers, that people really don't have a know-how to. There's not really like a big manual or playbook out there that tells you how to get to know somebody or how to date them.
Right.
In a frame by frame format per se.
Right.
There are things that you need to discern. Obviously the Bible tells us about stuff to avoid.
Right.
So, but communication is something that is very important. And even if and that's the thing, you never know if someone's telling the truth or not. I get it at first, but it's about what they say, what they do.
Yes,
you got to pay attention to what people do.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
if it lines up with what they says,
Oh yeah.
So, I'm gonna bring our brother back. He's been on the show before. Coming to the stage, D Rich. How you doing, D Rich? Welcome back.
Gentlemen.
So the brother was with us a few episodes ago. I'm forgetting what number it was, but thanks for coming back on the show.
Yes, really appreciate it. Yes, for sure.
You inspired this topic. So I want to thank you for that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just open it up for you to kind of start it off and kind of, give your thoughts and your introduction on it. So, you mentioned off air about surface level conversations. I remember on an old episode, I said, how many times is a man going to ask you what your favorite color is or what your favorite food is to eat? That's fine to ask, but just understand that doesn't make or break who you are and the potential person that you may be in that relationship. It's going to take more than that.
More than that. Yeah.
It's going to take more than that. So, Rich, I'm going to let you have the floor, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. As I was saying before, came across a clip where it was a young lady talking basically about not wanting to have small talk.
Yep.
And small talk in itself, anything is small talk. But more or less, it was, don't ask me my favorite color or my favorite food or none of that stuff because we don't need to talk about that. If a person is trying to get to know a person, you first got to have small talk.
Yeah.
Back in the day, we used to sit on the phone for hours and talk to girls, right?
Oh, yeah. I remember those days. Days.
You hang up. You hang up. I'm about to fall asleep.
Oh, man.
All that. We would learn every little thing about each other. But these kids, and
kids.
we the old people in the room now. they don't want to go through the work. Pretty much, they don't want to have the conversations. And for me, I talk to every female, every male about this that I come across. You need to take the time to actually understand what love is. Love is not me hugging and kissing nobody. Love is me trying to understand and empathize with another person. And the only way I can do that is to learn that person. Bruh, Zacchaeus, you married. I'm married.
Yes.
Brother, you gonna get there. But we spending this entire time learning our spouses.
Right.
And I gotta do that. I gotta do that with this and this and this. This, not so much. Now I need it because I might have to repeat something 1, 2, 3, 4, 1,000 times because it didn't come off the first time, and that's okay.
Yes.
But it's a reason why you got people saying stuff now like love languages. But what people are praying on that with is using, my love language is take me out on nice dates, buy me expensive things, and let's go on vacations on the regular. It's not practical. It's not sustainable. So when I saw this clip where this young lady was talking about don't have small talk with me, she's basically saying I'm not a person you marry. I'm not a person that you can see a relationship with. I am a time. And I think male and female, you really gotta be careful what it is you after, because if you after surface level stuff, don't be surprised when they go shallow on you. That's gonna happen. So conversations are important. Hell, just as simple as we date wrong. I already said that, but we date wrong. Why am I gonna take you to a movie where we sitting side by side looking at a massive screen around a bunch of other people? We should be in a secluded, semi-secluded setting, maybe a park, maybe a cafe where we can have a conversation. But that type of thing is frowned upon because there's no grand gesture. That's a novel thing. That's something that comes from a book. Ain't even gonna get into that because 9 times out of 10, you can't ask no female what's her favorite book. You might get a red flag. And then brothers, they ain't really reading at all. I mean, the younger ones, it's the quarter zip brothers are reading, but that's what I'm talking about.
Babylon.
I'm about to start an older book. It's actually 20 years old, but I've never read it. It's by author Daniel H. Pink. A Whole New Mind or something like that. What you got there? Oh, the ISIS papers. All right. I see you. Yeah. I just came from Barnes and Nobles today. I had to buy this book. I've already read it. What's the author's name? Sibo Campbell. It's a sci-fi book. Black author. It's called Sky Full of Elephants. If y'all want something that's like different, I promise you it's gonna hit. It's gonna hit. I ain't even gonna tell you the plot, but all I'm gonna say is you ain't never thought this one out. But enough people in our regular day-to-day lives don't know how to have conversations. Some because they don't read, some because they don't have those interactions, and for whatever reason, be it conversation wasn't in your home, or you are insecure in some area of your intellectual ability to share, people overstep that very valuable thing. Conversation can keep you out of a lot of potholes. If we just say, as simple as, do you want children? Do you want to be married? Do you know God? Or you we don't know how to do that when we're young. We're walking on eggshells. So it's even harder nowadays when you actually ask somebody to share their thoughts and they take that as an attack. Because there's nothing really there in the first place. Like, I focused on my muscles. I focused on being a hooper. I focused on being a football player. I focused on being whatever. If it's a female, you focused on being beautiful. You focused on I can't say getting your education, because I feel like having an education comes with an understanding of being able to communicate, not just to a organization that you hope hires you, but also a potential mate. You in social settings all the time. And that's the thing that we're losing, because we have so much of the social media. And I was telling Fifth earlier, man, I've been running from social media. Wow. Running from TikTok and all that stuff. And my wife, if you really gonna get back into podcasting, then you gotta beat the pavement, and the pavement is on for now. Yeah,
that's very true. And I'm gonna tell you something. I had to. Okay, so I'm someone who, I went to college for radio and television, right?
Okay,
and minor in film, because I originally wanted to get a job on a radio station, music radio, talk radio, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so I did internet radio back in 2008. Me and Zacchaeus did it together. I had him join, took a hiatus for several years, and then we started the podcast in 2017. So I had to be reminded, even during my passion, of what my passion is. And this is why I had to break the my resistance to social media, because my social media presence is not as good as it should be. Yeah. Being that I have an active YouTube account with a whole bunch of content, right? But not enough frequently, because the algorithm, I'm telling you, the algorithm is kind to those who put out stuff every day. I'm not going to be able to do that. But I've been able to do more with the TikTok lives. And I also have something else in the works cooking for my page as well. And yes, I had to break listen, it took me years to get an IG. It took me years. I'm late to the party with a lot of stuff. It took me years to get to TikTok. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because like I like to do content, but I don't like the social media part of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But because of the way this world functions, I mean, you can't really ignore that part. Even Zacchaeus knows, because Zacchaeus, remember, you said that, even you had to get more serious about it. And I'll tell you, Zacchaeus is better at this than me in terms of social media presence. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Change.
Yeah, go ahead, Zacchaeus. You speak to it, because even you had to up your content. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't want to do it. Because when me and Fifth got together, we were like musical people.
Yeah,
we were doing music. I didn't want to talk. I didn't want to talk to the camera. I didn't want to. I was not into that. Remember, I'm coming from the 1990s.
Yeah.
And content to me is music. It's not really talking. Yeah. It's not really talking. It's not really sharing my thoughts on social media or Bible talking on social media. I just want to share my music video on social media. That was my thing. It was never like a great showing what I'm doing on social media. Like, you see some people showing what they're doing on social media. I'm going here, going there. And I don't even like doing that. I don't like showing people where I'm going or what I'm doing.
Right.
I'm coming from we're coming from the 90s, I mean, me and you, we coming from that era.
Yeah.
And I had to get out of the box. I had to get out of my comfort zone and get out the box and have to, because for me, music it's like a thing of, that was like a history thing for me, like a thing of the past that I did. And I went through my time with that. And now I'm into like podcasting now. So I had to, in order for me to break out of that, I had to get out of the whole I'm not showing myself. I'm not showing myself on social media.
Hey, you preaching to the choir, man. Everything you're saying is where I've been, and the podcast was audio only. I was getting listenership and everything.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, man, you gotta You got to start doing the videos. You got to get on YouTube. You got to get on. I was like, man, why people want to look at me?
Exactly.
I'm a 6'2" black dude. It's about 300 of us on there right now that you can listen to. And you said like it's about the content and the art, which for me, those are two vastly different things, because I think the content more or less is what we're doing right here is format, speech, outtakes, stitches and all of that. Art is what y'all was putting out, the music and the videos, somebody actually putting their heart into something. And I think like the industry is blurring the lines between the two, but we know the truth. We know that there's art and there's content. Those are not one thing. And man, it's still a thing because I'm stubborn. I'm gonna just be real with you. Thank y'all for my wife, because she pulled me out of the places I've been with stuff. She keep me, from being the ass that I can be. So I am trying to work towards launching so I can have y'all on my podcast soon.
Oh, cool. Okay,
and just doing different things, because the other thing, like, I want to write books, and as I just said, it's not a lot of brothers reading. The people that are reading are in our age group. There are younger ones, but they reading for mangas and biographies on the rappers and the moguls that they want to emulate, stuff like that. It's not if you go to a bookstore any given day, or I just came from Barnes and Noble today after calling 3 of them looking for a specific title. You're not going to see black males under 25 in there on a daily basis.
No,
that's sadly true.
That's sad. And
can I argue this, Rich? Can I argue this, Rich?
Go ahead.
Even across cultures, you don't always see that with others too, 25 and down either. When you actually pay attention, not at a number that would tell you, oh, okay, that's a particular percentage that's over this percentage, or ...
Truth. I could just go on my my slice of Americana, and for me, I can, whenever I walk in there, and it's usually gonna be on my days off, which are during the week. Every now and then, if I'm with my kids, I might get out there on the weekend, but I will see Hispanic males, high school age to the 20s. And again, it's that manga, it's the the comic books.
Yeah, they'll be there for that. Yeah.
And then some of them, they graduate to the YA, the young adult fiction, and then more.
I'll tell you who I do see more in Barnes and Noble, gender wise, women.
Oh, absolutely. They drive the industry.
Yeah. So there's a stat. I'm trying to remember what it was, but somebody said it on my Zacchaeus, I think it was the brother Beyonder, when he said on one of the lives on TikTok, he said that it was either him or someone else said that women typically read more books.
Absolutely.
They read more.
Absolutely.
Yeah. He said this day and age, because he don't mean ever. He just meant in this day and age, in this modern age, that he feels that women read more books. Now, it didn't say what type of book, but I think I know where he's going.
That's important. Yeah.
Right. Because if we're talking novels, self-help, women definitely dominate that.
Yeah.
Self-help novels?
Yeah, self-help and novels. Men typically
men aren't quick to look for help. That's part of the issue. And that goes back into our larger topic of knowing how to have a conversation.
Right.
People don't want to give up any more ground than they already got. If you come to the table and you feel like you're inadequate in conversation, well, then I'm not looking to have a conversation with you. My job and my money speak for me. That Range Rover I got outside speak for me. That whatever you got, that house you already acquired, that speak for you. But your spirit might be lacking. Your intellect might be lacking. And you get to the point where that lady that y'all was talking about that I think was on tonight's conversation, because I think I saw that same clip.
Yes.
Where you feel like your partner is lacking ambition because you can't see the vision. You can't see the things the way he's seeing it. You probably on this thing way too much to where you looking at what, the Joneses got going on. Instead of understanding that his primary focus is making sure his family is good, you good, and y'all go and do that. He might be good with being that bridge. He might be good with being that trunk that holds y'all up to bear the fruit that y'all want to become. But she couldn't see that because you only going from what you understand. And I watch the pivot all the time with Ryan Clark and Fred Taylor, one of the greatest running backs in my opinion, but that's neither here nor there. And one of the sayings that he said that stuck with me is exposure leads to expansion. And I think while we do have a lot of women who read like quickly with understanding, they don't necessarily get the same exposure, because while you're reading about faraway places and spaces, you don't necessarily change your character structure to fit that mold. You just kind of like view it as entertainment instead of taking it in and applying it to your life.
Right. Yeah.
That I think that kind of goes along with people having problems with their communication skills anyway, because you just read 20 different books on where a woman might have had an inner monologue about how she felt about a certain situation and where she might have been the bad guy, but at no point you in your normal life will ever let yourself be the bad guy. It's got to in some way, rational or otherwise, be that other party's fault, be it your best friend, your boyfriend, or your sister or brother. It's got to be on them because I don't know. I can't be wrong,
Yeah, so I want to ask a question to both of y'all. Does poor communication skills when getting to know someone arise because someone is not well read, or someone is not really that interested in the person that they're talking to? Zacchaeus, you can go first.
Yes, the absolute. I think they're not. I think when you're trying to, I'm going to go through my experience even before I got married, because I would try to talk to a young lady, and my conversations, I would talk and try to get into the conversation with her, but she gives one word answers. That to me shows that she's not interested.
Yes.
Yeah. If somebody's giving you one word answers and you're talking to them, they're in many ways they're showing that they're not interested in you. Now, your wife we used to talk for hours on the phone, because at one time we met in Kingsborough College in Brooklyn, but she went away to Buffalo, D'Youville College in Buffalo, and we used to, and I think she was free on Friday nights, and I was in Staten Island, New York, and she was all the way in Buffalo, 8 hours away, and every Friday night we spend hours talking on the phone. I guess this is when you had the rotary phones. Hours talking on the phone. I mean, I'm talking about 4 hours, 5 hours. I'm telling you, when somebody's interested in you, the conversation is lengthy and you're never bored.
Facts.
That's the kind of conversations that people need to bring back, because if you can talk, and this is the time. This is what, back in 1997. This was no 98. I would say 1998. This was no social media. That didn't exist. But it was just, people need to get back into that, having just good conversation, especially if you're interested in somebody. Good, long, lengthy conversation, because there's people that they don't know how to communicate at all. They think, I'm gonna get with her. I'm gonna just get between them cheeks and that's it. I'm out. That's it.
Yeah.
Hey, there's a guy. Matter of fact, I had a person that I know, and said after he finished having sex with this woman, he didn't know what to say after that, because
He probably
buttermilk biscuits.
After he had the milk biscuits, he didn't know what to say after that. He had no idea. I'm like, wait a minute. You can't conform. He had no kind of a communication, no kind of connection with her, because it was just about that. And you see couples, and I observe people, I observe people, and it could be a boyfriend and girlfriend sitting there, and guess what they're doing? They have a little conversation, but most of the time I'm observing them. They're like on their phones, maybe 90% true, or 90% true. They're on their phones.
Yeah.
Either they're more distracted, more interested in what's going on Instagram and TikTok than they are with each other, and it's like a pause. Like we didn't have that back in the days where you had to pause and just be on your phone. We were our entertainment.
I think it would have been taken as disrespectful if we had been doing it back in the day. You know, it's like, hey, you're not paying attention to me. Like, you good, or something like
exactly.
that.
Yeah. So even now I've learned to let me just put away the phone. We'll just talk. Let's put away the phone because I think because it's an addiction. And it is addiction, so it gets you not getting into the conversation because you say, okay, you don't want to talk to me? I just get on my phone. And that's it. And that's the end of that. But so people sometimes they miss. It's like and nowadays it's like this. I saw her. They're like, well, are you sure you're dating me? It's like it's a different type of dating now. They're kind of guessing it. They're guessing it true. Like you will be with somebody, like if I'm in my early 20s, you'll be with a girl, but you're not being direct with her. In other words, you're holding her hand, but you're not sure what status you are because you haven't had that talk about, are we going steady? Are we together? It's like I'm assuming it's everything.
And they let social media dictate how that goes too.
Oh
I saw you didn't have me in a relationship, you didn't add me or something like that, or you blocked me. That blocking thing, oh my God.
Yes, block me, yes. Yeah.
Bro, whatever happened to just, hey, excuse me, I don't fuck with her no more.
Okay. Rich, you gotta watch that.
All right.
F-bomb. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't mess with her no more.
You don't mess with her no more. Right?
Yeah. That's how we used to talk back in the day. I'm.
Yeah, I don't mess with her no more. Yeah, I don't mess with. Yeah.
And back to your question again was.
Okay, so my question was: is it that someone's not interested, or is it that someone is not well read? Zacchaeus answered it from both ways.
Right. So I would just add on that. I don't think necessarily they have to be well read in the traditional sense of book, but
right.
You got to go back to our mothers and our mothers' mothers.
Mm-hmm.
They might not have had time to be reading Shakespeare or none of that, but they read people. And like he was saying about being observant and everything, you can't close yourself off to the world and then make good impressions on somebody that you're trying to attract. That's male or female. So I would say in some sense, you do have to be well-read. And that's as simple as taking from your elders, taking from your surroundings, or as we say, reading the room. So you do have to be able to do that. You don't necessarily have to be well-read, but it definitely helps go a long way. But I think the problem is with social media, we focus more on our insecurities when we see other people who are where we wish we were, and we don't want to do the work. Everything's instant on that thing. It's all sterile. It's all already processed, and it's there for you. Oh, I know I go with that person. She got me as in a relationship with her, so I ain't even got to ask her. But that's not, she could be cheating on you.
Right.
But you're going to be the one that, God forbid, you got to take care of that kid. That might not be yours. You you have to have something. You can't just be oblivious.
Yes.
True. You got to have some substance.
Yeah.
Some substance. Yeah.
From either side, you got to be exposed some way.
You got to have something about yourself that's beyond the surface, because what your substance is part of your presentation. It's part of how you're perceived, part of how you make decisions. You know, if you're someone who is at least hasn't studied pretty much anything, then what happens is now when things fall on you, what do you turn to? What do you result to? What are your default settings? You know what I'm saying? What are you right? We talk about tangibles and intangibles. Remember, we talked about this on the last episode. Now I remember the episode you was on. There you go. So, you know, that stuff really matters, and I get it though. But what would be your advice to a young brother or a young sister, you know, that's needs help with communication? You know, I'm gonna let you go first, Rich, and I'm gonna let Zacchaeus answer.
That's a interesting one. I find myself in a blessed situation to be a male largely around women as a child. So I think in my mom's natural brilliance, she distracted me from our environment. You know, if the lights was getting turned off or wasn't much to eat or whatever, we had conversations. So I talked to my parent, and that's a thing that I think nowadays, man, people don't talk to their kids. So if and for a couple of reasons, this is a very healthy thing, provided that parent has something to say, because not only do I talk to my kids, I talk to two other kids that they don't have that other perspective or that male perspective in their lives that they can volley thoughts off of. Man, things aren't real until you put them out there for other people. And if you let it sit in your head, it could run amok with you. So I think when it comes to a young person trying to date, you need to be able to have casual conversations without the goal of actually getting to a person, because you're going to be zealous, you're going to be eager, and so things are going to be tight and wound up, and you got a myriad of emotions coming out. So you should probably practice just having conversations with, I don't want to say strangers, because that's, you know, conversations platonically. This helps reinforce your ability to volley that back and forth with another person, and then it becomes more natural. But as kids, I can remember, you know, you had to when you walk into somebody's house, you had to speak. You know, you had to look grown-ups in the eye. You had to say hello. You had to say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. Man, people don't really make their kids do that no more. So it's kind of like when you don't have that foundation, everything else is gonna be frazzled, because if I don't know how to do the formality, I'm not gonna know how to do the the leisure stuff. Yeah. So I just think it's that you need to go back to actually having constructive conversations that are more than just regurgitating the last clip, you know. Because when my sons get around their friends, man, it sounds like everything I've heard for the last 2 years on social media. They just parrots. They just one after another just say things that they've heard. They got these phrases and stuff. They just, oh my God. So I can just imagine what they do when they talking to girls. But then the girls doing it too.
Yeah.
Fact, Zacchaeus, go ahead.
Yeah, these kids are, I noticed that these days, these kids, they don't know how to say hello to when they see adults, or say like, hello, sir, hello, ma'am. They don't. I had to really force my son, because he is really like, he won't say nothing to you.
Introvert.
Just come into a room and don't say anything. And I fight to break him out of that. And I fight to I was talking to him and I said, when you come in, even when he was younger, I said, when you come in the room, you see adults, you say hello. You don't have to have long conversation, but just say hello out of respect. You say hello. When you see adults in the room, you say hello. My daughter, she automatically does it. I don't have to tell her that. But son is like, just.
Where does he get that? Where does he get that from? Were you like that when you was a kid?
I was shy.
Your wife went like that? Okay, you were shy?
I was shy, but I was shy.
Is that what it is? Has he vocalized that he's shy or what?
No, he doesn't vocalize that he's shy. He
might not even know he's shy.
Yeah,
he might not
even know how old he is.
14. So
yeah. No, I got one finna be 16 in a couple of weeks, and I got one 13.
Okay.
And the oddness of it is my 15-year-old is very shy.
Okay.
I'm not interested in talking to no girls or nothing. Give him a book or give him Minecraft. He good all day. Now, he does prefer to talk to older people because me and him, I say, bro, it's very little that you're going to learn from your peers. If you want to learn something, get the game from the old people. But see, me, I don't know how. I just understood that. I can remember being in the first grade when they asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up.
Yeah.
Everybody said firefighter, police officer, whatever. I said I want to be a grandfather.
What?
I said I want to be a grandfather. Man, for me as a little boy, first of all, they called me Pop. That's what my family called me. I had a pop belly, but I was skinny and I act like an old man.
Right.
So I said I wanted to be a grandfather because when I go to the barbershop and I see all the old men, everybody pays respect to the elder. That's a grandfather. Don't nobody eat before the grandfather. When the grandfather spoke, that was the final word. And I don't know how I just looked at that at 5 years old.
Yeah.
But I want to be him. So as a child, I remember vividly saying, I want to be a grandfather without even understanding the full totality of that.
Yeah.
And I think like kids don't really look out or necessarily look up. They like that too often. And there's a lot of things going on in their heads.
Yeah.
Like I said, they're not putting out. So those things just become storms like like the surface of Jupiter. That's just mulling around in their head. And, if they got it out, they'd be able to make more sense of it, but they rather keep it to themselves so they don't sound a certain way or look a certain way and try and blow up on somebody.
Yes.
In a good way or a bad way. And it'll be overwhelming to them. And then they like, man, they rejected me. No, you haven't practiced the art of having conversations, and the person who's for you is going to receive you no matter what. Like he was saying back in the day, I want to know everything about you. We used to just talk. Now, my youngest son, texting girls all the time. We got to monitor him.
Wow.
Yeah. And nothing bad. It's just he's not a bad looking boy. He's very unusually confident. Like my sons are night and day. One's very reserved, the other one's very outgoing. But they both prefer talking to their elders because they got kind of that same thing. They want to be like me. They want to be a dad. They want to be in charge. They want to be, and I'm like, bruh, it ain't what it looked like, but you're on the right path because if y'all came around my sons, they'd have a full conversation with you.
Wow.
Humor, dialogue, all that,
Wow. Yeah.
And that's because we have that environment, not just from me, my wife and her family. It's, bruh.
Rich,
Go ahead.
I missed that part of our culture. I want to go back to what you said about the grandfather. So I missed that part of that patriarch in our culture.
Yeah.
About how because he was because the elder, it's the respect. So growing up as a kid, the culture that was passed down to me was respect your elders.
Yeah.
And protect women and children, right?
Yeah.
Because they physically, they need our help, right?
Yeah.
In many ways. And I really miss that part of our culture because several things happened back then. If men were having conversations that were deemed inappropriate, as soon as a woman or kids walked in a room, We straightened up.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Oh, those days, yeah.
We always watched ourselves with our elders, and we always offered help to our elders, even if they didn't ask for it.
Absolutely. That
is something that we always did. We helped. We made sure that our elders got across the street safely. If Miss Mabins had a whole cart full of groceries, we helped her to her car.
Yeah.
Even if we didn't get a tip for it, you know what I'm saying? We helped.
Yeah, it wasn't about that.
Yeah. It was right.
And that goes back to that thing where I was saying, like, having love and understanding love.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing this for hugs and kisses or a slice of pie when Miss Willie Mae made one, or Miss Holloway, the ladies that was on my block when they made something, because they was gonna give me some, and I was, hey, yo, I'm thank you,
Right.
Just because those women were like grandmothers to me, So if I'm gonna do it for my grandmother and I see it need to be done for them, I'm gonna pull her trash can in because I'm pulling my trash can in. I don't want nothing to happen to her. She come out here and somebody run at her sideways. I can do it. Let me do it while I'm able. That's kind of my position, And so for me, with the grandfather thing, man, my grandfather was departing this world by the time I was 5. And my paternal grandfather, I didn't know him that well. So I took my cues from my step grandfather and others, where I just saw like my best friend's grandfather. That I basically borrowed his grandfather until he passed on, And God rest his soul. And my best friend, we just buried his mother like the 2nd of February.
Oh,
So it's that woman. I saw her leaving this earth, like I saw my mom leaving this earth, and I had to go and pray about that and get myself together, because even though it's not my mother, it's my boy's mother, and her leaving, it affected him. It affected me too, because that woman would come and pick me up from school if she saw me. If I was walking home, she'd give me a ride home at the football practice, all of that type of stuff. And we straightened up as kids in the street if we was having an inappropriate conversation or doing something we had no business when they pulled up. So it's like, I think the larger thing is, one, we don't value shame anymore. And then on the flip side of that, we kind of encourage shameful behavior when it comes to how we portray ourselves around other people. There's the community, man. I think between Gen X and us, we really dropped the ball, bro. Like we we really dropped the ball. I mean, family reunions are becoming almost extinct.
Obsolete.
Yeah, man.
The reunion is the funeral.
It's a funeral, yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Getting all the kids together from all of the siblings and putting them at grandmother's house or somebody's house for the summer.
It's sad, man.
That's gone. That's done.
Sad,
I can remember spending all of my summers with my cousins, bro. It's just like, nah, don't nobody do that no more. Yeah. I have nephews. I have 2 nephews and a bunch of nieces, and they've never set foot in my house.
Wow.
And vice versa for my sons. And it's just timing, number one, and then it's like how close I am to my siblings versus their spouses, and all of those little idiosyncrasies in between. People just like, bruh, as I can come to it from a coach's standpoint. Nobody trusts you with their kids the same way, and they're ready to hit the eject button for any little reason. Hey, you raised your voice at my kid. I don't like that. your kid's out of pocket. And as I used to tell people when we would have like little get-togethers or birthday parties for my sons, hey, just know we spanking here, and I might not necessarily look for you, depending on the infraction. If it like, man, I had one of our coworkers, her son, I guess he was having a thing, and he stumped cake in the carpet because he didn't want it, or I don't know what was going on. I was getting stuff off the grill. But I look at his mom, I was like, hey, you gonna handle that, right? Or you need me to, because I mean, he don't know me, but I believe in immediate, when you're dealing with young people, we need to have cause and effect immediately. Yeah. So, everybody's not like that. You want to talk to the child or discipline the child later on. No, what are you talking about? That was a long time ago, So how you handle things, it kind of, bro, what did they say? Raise a child in the manner up for which you wish them to go, and they won't depart. Even if you try to train a child up.
The way to go when you get older.
I didn't move away from my mama's words hundreds of times, and I got my butt right back to them.
There you go.
Subconsciously, just like, hey, nah, this ain't right.
There you go.
You need to stop. So it's the thing of like what you see or what you exposed to really does make that difference. Now, teenage boys, repetition, and then you still gotta pray and look out for them, because I don't know. There is literally a chemical thing to where their bodies, when they start going through puberty, it robs the brain of certain hormones so that it can grow you. So you have a delay in your thought process. Like you know, it seemed like my sons were smarter when they was under 10 than they are now. And I'm like, and that plays a part in how they communicate with each other too, But I just look at them like, I know you're not dumb.
Yeah. And you know what? It's not so much that knowledge is decreasing. It's curiosity decreases, and also you develop ego when you hit puberty. I feel like when you hit your puberty and teenage ages, that's where you don't even know what ego is yet. Mm-hmm. But that's where it starts to arise, and this is how it arises.
I think that's when it is made or broke. Right. I can testify coaching as young as 6 years old that I've seen ego. Not in all kids, but I've seen it in enough different, and I don't, black, white, brown, Asian, Indian, I've had them all. Where ego is present before that. And like I said, it's made or broke by the time you hit those teenage years, to where somebody pulled you aside and let you know what was okay and what wasn't okay with your peers and definitely with adults. But by the time for me, looking at us as people, your personality more or less by the time you hit 17, 18, that is the core of who you are. If you a motor mouth, you a motor mouth. If you a liar, you probably a liar. If you a high strung person, manipulator, you that, 10, 15 years from now, we can still see that in you, no matter how you try and swing it. And people like to act like we get so far away from high school that we change, man, and we really don't change. The ones who aren't willing to do the work or don't have some life-altering circumstances, be it you lost a loved one or you came close to death or whatever, what have you, it usually takes some make or break situation for you to turn that around and check your ego if it was never checked.
I'm going to say this real quick, right? When I was in high school age, a wise man said to me, you need to become, you need to work on becoming the man that you respect. And so that matured me very quickly, because he said that. And then I started to look at the experience of myself and the experience of my peers. and I started to see around. It's like my eyes were fully open to see the downfall and the trajectory of some of our peers around that time.
Mm-hmm.
And there are people that I saw going to prison when I was in high school, and those people are either in prison or they're now passed on respectfully.
Yeah,
you know. And I saw that, and it's like my eyes, like finally open. It's like it's like the Matrix metaphor. You were in bliss, right? But then as soon as you took that red pill, then you started to realize, ooh, okay, now I see what's really going on.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It's just binary code. Then when you understand what it is you're looking at, now all opens itself and it now shows you exactly what's going on. And you know what I'm saying? And you would have thought that was the architect, just like Matrix, the architect talking to you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I'm gonna tell you something right now. That woke me up and it helped me to this day. And that's kind of what I teach the youngins now. Before they become 21, before they become 18, if I'm able to get to them young enough, and I started getting to that psyche, like that one wise man did for me about deciding the kind of man that you want to be. Mm-hmm. And this guy said to me between the ages of 14 and 16.
Wow.
Because I love to have fun. I love to clown around, but there's a limit to it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And, my serious side started to make more decisions as opposed to the more, not so serious side. And that was in high school. So it changed the way I do things. And like you said, Rich, it'll either make or break your ego. You know what I'm saying? And an adult could do it or another kid could do it who got a bigger ego than you. That happens too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And Zacchaeus, I know you could speak to that because we all were once teenagers.
Oh yeah.
And then you're raising teenagers now.
Yes, I'm raising teenagers now. Yeah.
And so I know you can speak to that in terms of, because you what I get from you and what I've known of you since knowing you strike me as someone who matured quicker, than probably most of your peers. I mean, is that true? I mean, I would think so. I mean, I've been knowing you for almost 20 years. So.
Yeah. I, in a way, I kind of took when every time I did something and I like let's say for like writing songs, I took that, I looked at that and took it more serious compared to just fooling around and hanging out on the block, hugging the block. I used to call hugging the block. Yes, he was hugging the block, and I'm like, I don't want to waste time doing that. So even in high school, I started doing it. I started hanging in front of the grocery store, the bodega, like in New York, we call it the bodega in New York City.
Yeah, corner stores, yeah.
Corner stores. And I said, and I got into being creative because I got into being creative. I got into music, got into drawing, music, and I'm like, I like doing this better. So it kind of wake me up to get more serious with life, like work on your craft. I started doing my first recording was in 1994. And I started getting serious. And I'm like, I got more serious with what I want to do in my life, what hobbies and what drive me and what art I want to do, what kind of music I want to do and everything like that. I didn't like hanging out because in my mind, I felt, I don't want to waste time. I felt it was a waste of time hanging out with the dudes in front of the bodega and hanging out just waiting. I used to look at that and say, man, I just say hello and goodbye. Wave my hand, hello, and I see them hanging out in the front of the store and goodbye. Because I just, in a way, I was trying to mature more. I didn't want to do that. To me, it was more like wasting time. That was the thing in the 90s where you see dudes hanging out in the blocks in early 90s. I'm talking about early 90s, late 89, 90, 1990. You see dudes hanging out in the block all day long. They got nowhere to go. I'm like, I mean, they don't even know what day it is. And I'm like, man, I don't want to do that. I have more things to do. And that's what kind of drive me to in a way to be more ambitious with what I wanted to do and what I want to do. Because I used to see like dudes just drinking a OL, OL, the 40 ounce OL, drinking that and hanging out late until and not going to school, just hanging out all day. I can't do that. No, I don't even know how they did it. I don't even know how they did it. And then I ran to not too long ago, I think it was maybe 2 years ago, guy's my age. I ran into him and he's like, well, I didn't graduate from high school. Remember? I said, oh yeah, Farouk, he didn't graduate from high school. I didn't see him in the yearbook. He didn't graduate from high school, but I'm like, what is he doing now? He said he's doing odd jobs. I said, oh, okay, but that's what, and to me, I was like, in a way, I said, man, I'm glad I didn't do that because I used to see him and with the other dudes, other people hanging out on the block all day long, slinging. The people sending rocks and hanging out. And like, what a waste of energy and time. To whatever float. If you want to hang out all day for 8 hours or 9 hours on the block, hugging the block, go right ahead. I got something to do. I gotta go.
I think it speaks back to how he was saying, exposure. And the thing that at those ages myself, between 14 and 16, I had a duplicative nature. And what I mean by that was, on the one end, I grew up around, like I said, all women. And before I knew what a sorry brother was, I knew I didn't want to be one because of how my mother and my aunt and my grandmother would speak that word. Like they had some stank on it when they said, oh, sorry, So hey, I don't know what that is, but I know I don't want to be one. I don't even want to be in the same category, but then on the other tip, because I was mostly around females. I mean, I had my stepfather between the ages of 7 and 15. By then they divorced or whatever. But it's like, certain things that I was into, music and whatnot, he understood. We talked about it. Bruh, I loved his record collection. This man introduced me to different jazz greats. Ohio Players was in my living room every Saturday.
Wow.
I listened to so many other genres of music. He introduced me to Led Zeppelin, you name it, but on the flip side, I can't say either of my father figures taught me how to fight, throw a football, shoot a jump shot, or anything like that. And I can't really say that I had like much of a direction or drive at 15, 16, 17. In fact, I can tell y'all gentlemen plainly, man, I was a child waiting to die. I wasn't hanging out on the block necessarily, but I figured because of the environment that I was in, that somebody was either going to take my life or I was going to take somebody's life and force them to take mine. So I didn't really see a future. I didn't see being 40 years old. I didn't see having sons. I didn't see being married. I didn't see any of the things that I've been blessed with. It's more so you got to keep showing up and doing and not listening to yourself. Like I said, being in my own mind at that time was the most dangerous thing. And I was an only child for 13 years, so it's like I was in my mind all the time. It's still probably my great hangout. I can resort, I can just check out. But back then that was reckless. And I can remember moments where I wasn't respectful. I can remember moments where I was self-destructive and not appreciative of things that had unfolded in my life. I've always been able to have a conversation, but I also mirrored energies badly. So if you came to me with stank energy, I'm a cracked mirror. I'm gonna give it back to you every way you don't want it, And that would be anybody who wasn't my mother, my step grandmother, my stepfather, those other matriarchs that were on my block. If you weren't any of those people, anybody could get it. And so it took me a while to break that mentality, which I had to figure out in my 30s. I was depressed.
Wow.
And I think it was just not being properly prepared for my environment, or pretty much not being properly prepared for my environment, because the environment that I was in didn't smile on you sitting outside playing your trumpet or learning martial arts or reading comic books and skateboarding. My environment frowned upon that. So it was just like, okay, I had to retreat inward, you know. Mm-hmm. And I had friends that were like-minded, but we all kind of were going through our own struggles. So it wasn't like we talked about, you know, what was going on with us. Mm-hmm. And then once you got older, you started to, you know, court young ladies, and you got to realize your shortcomings and misgivings with that's another layer. So you still not dealing with dealing with what's going on up there. In fact, you're supplementing with some of these ladies. You're not having conversations either. You like, hey, I want to, like he said with the brother he was talking about earlier, he was so outdone with her body that he wanted to get in the bed, that after that he was just like, man, I don't know what to do with it. Of course not, because you used her as a stress toy. And I went through a period where I was on that vibe, and I got a kick out of a woman telling me I wasn't her type.
Right. Oh, wow. Yeah.
Because you mean after the fact, you're saying?
No. Like,
oh, okay.
If you told me,
okay,
if a woman I approached said, I'm not your type, that I'm not her type, can you elaborate? I have never not won that conversation. I have never not gotten those numbers, or more. And I could say I wasn't my best self at that time, because I was like, you know, I will talk you into submission and then bring it back to remind you, wait, I'm not your type, you know. And that was
I see.
But
you accepted the challenge, is what you're saying.
I used to enjoy the hunt, yes. But you know, going through some things and enduring and suffering some others brought me through that. And I feel like it's for the reason of being able to talk to the youngsters, male and female, about where life can take you. Talking to us brothers who don't know how to, you know, start that ball on their own, push that ball on their own, and make some sense of what's going on in their own head.
Yeah.
Because people they don't communicate with themselves. So if you don't communicate with yourself, how are you going to be able to communicate past, you know, can I get your number? You know,
right.
And communication is a two-way street. You got to be an active listener, not just an active speaker. And most people just want to get their point out anyway.
Yeah. Wow. So I like what you're saying, because it does boil back to how we started, and that is your experience and your walk through life, your success and your failures will play a role when you're trying to engage with someone. And so that does play a role, because it tells a story about you. It tells a story where you come from and where you're going.
Oh my God. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Rich. You had an epiphany?
Yeah. I've had a conversation with my younger sister. Like I said, I was an only child for 13 years. So she's 13 years younger than me. But I've had this conversation with her. I've had it with other young men around the same age. Their generation doesn't want to take an L. And what I mean by that is they don't want to go through the negative experiences that they've heard about from their older siblings, their parents, their grandparents. They don't want to end up with the person that they don't love in a marriage. They don't want to end up with the person who's going to break their heart. They want somebody who's always going to make them happy. And the thing about that is you don't know how to attract that, because you're not willing to do the base things of having the conversation. So because they don't want to take the L, they don't even try for the W. So they stay in the stands. You know what I'm saying? And I just thought about that when you said what you said, that's the antithesis of it. This generation, man, it is paramount that they experience nothing but happiness for some reason. And a good relationship does not work like that. You need those lessons of bad stuff happening so that you can appreciate the person that you get. Otherwise, you'll act like homegirl and not appreciate this man that then put y'all up and made a way for you to have a platform and have money and have things, but you don't think he has ambition. You know, if you never see the flaw, you will never respect the reward. You know, you'll never the beauty of the situation.
So in other words, this generation doesn't want to take risk.
Yes.
Not
relationship wise.
One second. Had to get that in there.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Every last one of us takes risk. Now, it's to take a calculated risk. Yes. So it's not to take it's not to jump off it's not to I'm gonna go to a cliff and jump and then hope that I live. No, we're not talking about that risk.
No.
We're talking about the risk of when you get into your car every day that you might get into a car accident, but you still got to drive.
That's a risk.
Right. Mm-hmm. But that is something that is necessary, right? To get from point A to point B.
Point B,
yes. That is the risk that this generation is not willing to take.
You cannot be driving that car. You can Uber. You still got to take that risk.
Yes.
Get on that bus. Right. We got buses coming off of the freeways. Ain't no such thing as safe.
No.
And one of the things that always makes me cringe is when people speak about safe spaces. I don't know that one truly exists. You know, we try to create them for our children and our loved ones or whatever, but for the most part, the safety that you have is pretty much how you see life. You either choose to see the safety or you choose to see the risk in the world, but both are always there, you know.
Safety.
Zacchaeus, you were about to speak to that, but can I say something that may help what I think you might say?
Yeah.
Before I let you go, and then we're going to close out, okay? So, safe space is a vague term, and it means something different from men to women. Let me tell you what a safe space is for a man. A safe space for a man amongst men is accountability, correction, direction.
Mm-hmm.
But being able to at least vocalize what it is that you're trying to vocalize, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that there won't be any judgment, right? Because it's going to be constructive, right? Here's what safe space means to women. A woman will tell you that the moment someone disagrees with her, it's not a safe space anymore. See, this is why that term is very vague. It doesn't mean the same thing to both sides. To a woman of wisdom, when someone disagrees with you, doesn't mean the space is unsafe. But to women who just want to vent, that's two different things. What women who say what they just said about the moment someone disagrees, what they want is a space of an agreement. To them, that's a safe space.
That's not healthy.
That's not how you learn.
But honestly, we have males, and I'm saying males, not men, because and you made a point earlier about, you know, how we used to protect women. And I think
culture, yes.
Yeah. It's then got to this, it's then degenerated to this, to where sadly, every 30-year-old is not a man. Every 30-year-old is not a woman. You're definitely a male or female as your gender past. Anyway, you definitely that. But what happens is we want to hold people to standards that they're not willing to hold themselves to. You, as a man, you won't take care of yourself or speak up for yourself, but I have to treat you like a man, and that might actually be something that you feel like is an attack, or vice versa as a woman, to where if I treated you like a woman and think that you're going to be accountable, you might see that as an attack. So it's really murky when we even everybody's not accountable. Everybody's not gonna be stand up. Everybody's not gonna be a person of their word or what have you. You know, so it's some people that are running from relationships, being parents, taking care of themselves or holding down a job at 30, 40, 50 for whatever reason, you know. And I think so many of us in our generation as kids, we saw that. Some of it was our cousins, our parents, or whatever, and that has further deteriorated our community and culture.
Zacchaeus, go ahead, Zacchaeus.
Yeah, when you speak about safe space, and and I'm glad you brought that up. There's a lot of to piggyback what you said. I've noticed that over the years there's some women like that. They feel uncomfortable when they're being held accountable for certain things that they say, certain things that they do, their actions, and they don't feel they feel unsafe when they're being corrected, or they feel unsafe.
Even if you explain or
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
That's a whole term now.
Exactly. Yeah, I feel unsafe with you. I don't feel secured with you because now I'm gonna have to come out of my safety. And some people are complacent. They'd rather stay in the delusion, no state of mind, or they rather stay in a space where they're just comfortable in their own. In other words, comfortable meaning that I don't want to evolve. I want to just stay. Let me just accept me for who I am. Let me be the way I am. That's just who I am. And some people don't believe in evolving. Some people don't believe in growth. They just want to stay stagnant. And this is the way how I am. Accept me. This is what keeps people single, because they don't want to. Sometimes they don't want to come out the box, and coming out the box is too much work, or coming out or being in a stagnant is too much. Being stagnant is comfortable and it's a safe space. But when you have to evolve and say come out of your comfort zone, now you feel that you're unsafe. And this is what makes people. This is part of the element of what makes people live alone or be by themselves
for years. Decades.
Yes, because they set in their ways. They don't want to. They're afraid to test the waters, and they become they become bitter, and they become very extremely.
I receive everything you're saying, man. I have a coworker that I love. Yes. I love her to death.
Yes, they become extremely selective. I said, you know how much money you did, brother? How much? What you said you're doing again, brother? I said, Lord, listen, I'm a security officer. Oh no, you ain't got no money. Hey, heck no, you ain't got no money. You ain't got no money though, sis. You know what he making, sis? And guess what? Fifth and D Rich, they're like pushing 50, and they're still sitting there twiddling their thumbs, telling us, so you know what? I'm gonna go get a cat. Are you gonna get a cat to keep you company now?
Yeah. Oh my God, I see so much of that.
Let me get a cat now. Yeah, you gonna get a cat now? Oh yeah. I think, you know what? That's best to keep you company. Now that's best to keep you company, because you know what? Brother said, listen, I try to kick it to her, and I try to talk to her, but she's not feeling me, because she said that she can't, I'm not making enough. I'm just, They're not willing to do something different. Sometimes when you try something different, you keep going on the same lane over and over again, think that you're gonna get a man that makes $100,000 per month, or the other opposite side, you're going with the Pookie and Ray Rays and thinking that you're gonna change them. Oh, he's the thug brother that dogs me out and he plays with me and he cheats on me every now and then, and this is all I can. This is all I get. Like the Jimmy Cozier song, "She's All I Got." Come on, man.
Well, let me say something to Rich, and then I did say we want to close it out, but this brought me to something that Zacchaeus kind of spoke to, and we're speaking to as far as safe spaces. Do you know? I feel like what's missing in both men and women is mentoring. So we know it. So we're men, so we know what mentoring looks like for us, right? Mm-hmm. Like I talked about connection. No, I didn't say connection. I said accountability, but yeah, connection, correction, direction, right?
That direction is the mentorship.
Yes, because direction is the mentorship. So with women, we've had examples like I'll give it in our community. We've had Shahrazad Ali.
Oh yeah.
We've had even Sister Soldier, right?
Oh, you remember Sister Soldier? Yeah.
But women collectively, sadly, got together and said, we don't want to hear that no more.
They turned down India Ari. They turned down Felicia Rashad for critiquing.
I remember. Yep.
Their decorum lately,
And before that, they turned down Monique.
Oh yeah. Monique has some ways, but I mean,
right.
Yeah, when she started speaking on relationships and how to. They turned her down too. It's if you're not speaking to the now of, I guess, liberation in a sense, then you're getting turned down. When it comes to mentorship, I kind of looked at it like I did with football. I got into football late. I realized I was decent at it. I wanted to be better. So I go talk to the old head. I want to see what the old heads do. When I got married, I was picking everybody's brain. I'm picking my Hispanic partner's brain, my Arab partner's brains, the old white man that had been working with us that was like 74, 75. I asked him, hey, what can I do to be on a path like you've been with the same woman for all this time? And he he said something so simple. I didn't believe it to be true. He just said, no matter how you feel about her, always love her. And I was like, huh?
Wow, that's deep.
He said, no matter how you feel about her, always love her.
Wow. Yeah.
And I can tell you, 24-year-old D Rich didn't understand. We started getting there about 31. But in essence, I actually did what he was saying because I had to come to it a different way. Even if I'm mad at her, I'm still going to make her food when I make mine. Even if I don't like how she did XYZ and we got to have a conversation, I'm still going to do what I need to do for her because that's my woman, And I think people get in this mindset with our generation on down to where it's the hell with that person when they make them feel a certain way. Even if if me and my wife didn't work out, because that woman brought 2 sons into this world for me, she has my gratitude and my love forever, But love takes a bunch of different ways. If you walk out on us, that turns into something else, but you're gonna still have my gratitude and my respect. And him telling me that I didn't understand it at 24, but 31, I was kind of getting it. As a man today of 40, I understand. I can not like something you did, but I still love the vessel and I still love the heart and I still love the mind of the person, even though I don't understand nothing you just did. You know, and it's the same thing that you extend to your children and probably your parents too.
All right. Yeah, I think we nailed the topic. I don't have a final thought. Zacchaeus, you have any final thoughts? And I'm gonna end it with Rich.
I think we nailed it, so I'm good now. Oh yes.
Okay. Rich, any closing remarks?
Closing remarks, health. Like I told y'all backstage, man, tore my meniscus, had some other little health problems going on. That's why I was able to be here with y'all today. So I would encourage everybody to, we've been talking about conversation, and for me, that's like, it takes on a lot of things. We hold on to stuff in our head, and that creates a lot of mental stresses. My wife had to get me out of my head and make me do some stuff that I normally wouldn't have done, which is go to the doctor in some regards, which is slow down and rest, which I don't do enough. And I think Black men, we have a problem with certain things, but we so good at being the provider and the protector that we forget that we got to do maintenance on ourselves.
Yes. Yeah.
And understanding that my stepfather went into the hospital this week was not just a revelation for him, but it was, hey, you're going to be taking this test soon, so you need to understand what's coming, you know. So that's God's way of conditioning me to get ready for that, because I've already lost a father due to health complications and whatnot. And I just encourage people to monitor your health, man.
Yes.
I don't like doctors. I don't trust them. I'm going to always get a second opinion, but go see them. Get your levels. Get a blood what do you call it? A blood panel yearly, just so you can see where you are. You know, and if you not into that, read, familiarize yourself. Now, you ain't no doctor, even if you read 100 medical books, but it can help you take care of yourself and eat better. And the thing that I've learned from my blood type and my health is that certain foods dehydrate me. And most of them are proteins that people eat every day. I can't eat chicken and beef and eggs every day. I can have a little bit, but if I do that all the time, I'm going to dehydrate myself. So that's something that I've learned here at 40. You know, a brother I witnessed yesterday eating a thick ham sandwich, something I don't partake in. And I'm just looking at him like, bloated skin, protruded belly, visceral fat. I'm just like, brother, I was like, you eat whatever you want, don't you? He's like, yeah. And I said, you an O blood type, huh? He's like, yeah. I was like, all right. It's little things that you learn, but I would encourage everybody to pick up a book, How Not to Die. Or if you're a diabetic person, the Obesity Code or Diabetes Code by Jason Fung. Either one of those books, those are really good just on how to take care of yourself so that you don't have certain illnesses or ailments. Bro, we got to treat ourselves like cars. You don't put regular gas in a Corvette. You don't put regular gas in a Lamborghini. You know, so if you check your fluids and you change your filters the same way you did your car, you do that for your body. We can't remove no parts, but I can definitely cleanse my gallbladder and my spleen and all that stuff. There are things out there that you can do that. I follow Dr. Yaki. I follow Dr. Bobby Price. I follow a couple of different people who kind of teach you how to get yourself right so you can limit going to the hospital, because God forbid, hey, you'll hear them tell you time of death before you actually expire. If you somebody they want, I ain't gonna get into that, you know. But yeah, just be mindful of your health, man, and keep y'all first.
Amen. Yes.
All right. All right. Rich, you want to let people know where they can reach you, any social handles or anything, or anything you got to promote?
Nobody asked IG. Nobody asked nobody asked 27 on TikTok.
There you go.
Nobody asked 27 at Gmail. Yeah. Podcast coming soon, hopefully, God willing.
Yeah.
There you go. Zacchaeus, let them know where they can reach you, man.
You can reach me on YouTube, Zacchaeus Gospel on YouTube. Also, you can reach me on TikTok, Zacchaeus on TikTok, Zacchaeus Music on Instagram, Wayne Backus Gospel on Instagram, Facebook, Wayne Backus 167 on Facebook. Yeah.
All right. Y'all can reach me at the Fifth General, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, Fifth General TV, TikTok, and YouTube, okay? All right, this was another episode of Mrs. Z and Fifth. Shout outs to our brother Rich for joining us again.
Yes.
Thank y'all for having me, fellas.
Yes.
Absolutely, always.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? And we'll see y'all next time, all right?